Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Tuesday morning Mortgage Coach coaching call. My name is Dave Savage, and here at Mortgage Coach, we are absolutely dedicated to your personal and your professional success. So today's call is all going to be about leads and borrower value, which equals how do we convert those leads into business. I've got two awesome guests today, Mr. Roberto Monaco. Roberto, welcome to the call.
Welcome. Hello, everybody. I'm super happy to be here today.
Well, I don't even know how many times you and I have been on a call like this together, Roberto, but it's been a lot, and I can't wait.
I appreciate that, buddy.
Good. And I also have a first-time special guest, Mark Dooley. I will be bringing Mark into the call for the second half, and I'll do a more formal introduction at that time. But, Mark, welcome to the Mortgage Coach call.
Great to be on the call, Dave.
Good. Hey, you sound great. Looking forward to the conversation. So a couple follow-ups from last week and the previous weeks. I really want to make sure everybody who comes these weekly calls, you have done your homework, you've really drilled down on your current scripting, and you've listened to that call I did with Jeremy a few weeks back. And I wanted to do a shout-out for our support team who has now, it's 5 videos where they're just really tight 3 to 6 minute clips of specific scripts. So there's a new playlist called MC Scripts, where we're just going to be adding on to this, where when I do an interview and a great script comes out of it, we just clip it, turn it into a 2 to 6 minute soundbite, and we put it into the MC Scripts playlist on our YouTube channel. So make sure you check those out. I also want to do a big shout out for my buddies over at the Real Estate TV, or the RE Source TV, the two Ryans. Ryan Hill, who is just, the guest. This is his show. And RC, who was our guest on this one. We did a big push around millennials. Just a fantastic message for loan officers and realtors. I recommend everybody listens to this 5-minute quick hit on, who are millennials, why millennials are important to the mortgage and the real estate industry. I loved the infographic. Loved the content that we netted out. I've listened to it a few times myself and heard a lot of great feedback. I recommend every mortgage professional listens to this video and share it with your realtors. Great way to get the conversation going around how do we better connect with millennials. One thing we know for sure is they like mobile. So we need to have a mobile strategy, something that we're passionate about here at Mortgage Coach. Every realtor needs to be thinking about, what do I need to do with my listings to connect? What do we need to do to our mortgage process? How are we going to adopt and adjust our marketing? And least, and certainly not last, how are we going to adopt our sales practices? Here at Mortgage Coach, we've been building solutions and technology for years to deliver education marketing. So when you listen to this video, make sure you click on the link below the video, and it will drive you to a rent versus own analysis from Tony Blodgett, a great Gen X loan officer, creating great educational content for millennials. So homework assignment, everybody, if you haven't watched it, make sure you check it out. I also want to do a shout out for Jeremy Forcier. He forwarded this picture to me on Sunday. This was a picture of one of his realtors' iPads where he had set a link with some finance options on the property, and they had this on display at the open house. So just a great example of a Mortgage Coach open house experience. Please, if you're out on weekends, delivering value with open houses, take some pictures and bring this back to the community just to inspire and engage everybody. Last reminder before we bring Roberto in, if you haven't already, make sure you've downloaded the RateWatch app. Make sure if you're using it, you're giving us some feedback on it. I want to thank the mortgage coaches out there that have given us some great reviews. Really appreciate this perspective. There's some great feedback saying that it's the best MBS rate tracker on the market. Jeremy Forcier giving us a little bit of love, talking about how it's a great educational tool. And then, this was just a fantastic piece of feedback. I'm not sure exactly who your friend in finance is, but I know not only did they give us a lot of great feedback and value, but they really just gave a teaching on how they're using this app to get meetings and how they're using this app to get value. So thank you for that feedback, and we look forward to hearing more of that. So with no further ado, I'm going to bring in Roberto Monaco. We're going to drill down on some videos that are delivering borrower value. Roberto is no one new to the mortgage coach community, and Roberto, every time I see this picture, it just
I
makes me
love
happy.
that.
Yeah. What year was this, Roberto? Was this 2009, I think?
That was 2000. Let's see, 2009. That was 2009. Exactly, 2009. Yeah.
Well, this video was all about great mortgage coach leaders getting together. We spent, I think, a day and a half in Laguna Beach, and it was all about how can we be better speakers and how can we create better videos.
Yeah.
So a lot has changed since then, and what I want to do today, Roberto, is really drill down on how to create more effective edge videos. I've been doing a lot of teaching around this, and the way I've been putting it, Roberto, is value equals success. Most loan officers, this is how they're having a conversation with borrowers at the transaction. Mortgage coach loan officers are delivering reports, graphs. I took a couple of the videos and samples because we're doing a video contest with our friends over at RPM, one of our strategic partners.
Okay.
And I put these videos online. I know you've reviewed them, but I really want to drill down and start with Kevin. So first, Roberto, if you could just kind of share your vision on why mortgage coach videos are important, and then let's break down Kevin's video and give him some feedback.
What I love about what you guys do in Mortgage Coach is that you make super simple, and I'm just going to tie back to the millennials video that you actually were in a video, and you talk about attention span is decreasing, a lot of information, people want information fast, they want information on their phones, and the whole idea about this generation is that they're not used to pay for information, right? We have to pay for information, now they get information from free on their phone. So I think that by using Mortgage Coach products, you are ahead of the competition. I mean, in my perspective, if a loan officer, if you don't use Edge, you're crazy. Me personally. I mean, there's no other way because, number one, I've done some Edge videos before. It's super powerful and is easy, and most important, it's fast. And if you want to mess with any other type of video platform out there, you're going to learn that it's not fast. It takes time. I do other types of videos, and the beauty about Edge videos, they're super specific to the consumer, to referral partners, to realtors, and they are fast. Talk about fast. They are visual appealing because the 80% plus of our society are visual learners, so you have to learn, engage them, and our attention span is decreasing. So I think video, between the graphs, between the voice, the animation, the storytelling, I think is the perfect combination. And I think that obviously you guys know the ones who are using video consistently are crushing it. So you guys have an amazing product. So that's why I'm a big fan of Edge. I'm not a loan officer. If I were, and if I had a team, it would be mandatory for all my people because combines everything that we need to be effective right now. The storytelling, the speed, the mobile technology, the educational marketing aspect, the credibility, I mean, everything. The control of the message, right, everything. So.
Well, thank you for the positive feedback and laying out all the why around it. So Kevin, by the way, if you're on the call, we're going to do a preview of your video. Oh, you just raised your hand. After Roberto goes through this, I'll unmute you and see if you have a question for Roberto, and then we'll move on. We've got 3 videos to do a review. So again, anybody who didn't hear this video, there's a link to it in the comments of our Facebook page. Roberto, why don't you go ahead and share what you liked, and then let's share a suggestion, and then let's get some feedback from Kevin.
Well, hi, Kevin. Absolutely love your video. I like because he started the video acknowledging. It's almost like I call the acknowledgement pre-frame. He acknowledged the consumer about something positive. In his case, was the consumer had done very well in the business. And then I don't know if he did that unconsciously or not, but he used the power of 3. And the power of 3 or the rule of 3 was Steve Jobs goes to strategy to present information. Steve Jobs always liked to present information in chunks of 3, and Kevin did that, so I love it. He goes, there's 3 things that you ask me that you want to do, and I'm like, yes, I love it. Another thing that he did very well, he mentioned the name of the borrower 4 times in a short video. I'm like, wow, that's a event, because we all know that name is super important, and he acknowledged, he used the name without being salesy. He actually mentioned the name of the borrower 4 times. I love it. Was super benefit driven, meaning that you always want to present information. I want to talk about, you want to create the need before you present, and his presentation has a need. The need was the borrower criteria. So almost like, hey, according to our conversation, you told me that you want ABC, so here we go, ABC back to you. So I thought it was beautiful done. And the other thing he did very well was he encouraged the board to refer and to pass along the video to the financial planner, to the accountant, to the realtor, so other people, not only by doing that, by saying that, he's saying, hey, I'm not hiding anything, I actually need to see, because here's the real stuff, is a great idea, and obviously his name, his brand goes attached to it, and he's exposed his brand, his message to other professionals. I thought it was really well done. So
nice. And if you had anything that you could do better, what are some of your thoughts?
Yeah, I actually watched this video like 4 times. I'm like, damn, this is like a hard one to improve. It was really, that's how much I like it. The only thing I would say, obviously, in that case was a 30-year mortgage, and he was trying to combine 15 years. Obviously, your payment is going to go up. Understand that, but you didn't address that. So if I am the accountant, or if I'm the financial planner, I'll be like, yeah, but they're going to be thinking. There's something called reactance in influence, and reactance in influence is the knee-jerk reaction. Be like, yeah, but he didn't. Obviously, the payment is going to go up, right? So you want to avoid that, even though obviously people know, hey, if you're going from 30 years to 15, obviously you have to pay more, obviously, right? But don't let that show up. You address first, and you can say, obviously, Mr. Jones, whatever the name was, Paul, I believe, your payment's going to go up, yet I'm going to be helping you save, as I'm going to share with you in a moment. I'll address it. But that's the only thing that I saw. The video was like, it's a great video, guys. I really encourage you guys to watch it. I love it. Absolutely love it.
Good. So, hey, Kevin, I just unmuted you. Did you have a question or a comment for Roberto on the feedback he just gave you? Kevin. All right. We will put Kevin back on mute. All right. So I don't have this. This is not feedback for Kevin's, but when we look at the checklist, by the way, Roberto's been my speaker coach now for over 10 years. A lot of what we've learned and implemented at Mortgage Coach, we learned from Roberto, but I just want to pull some takeaways from some of the other checklists that we created. Always be very, from an X factor perspective, be very intentional about your energy. Again, Paul did a great job of that. Make sure you're from a likability perspective, when you go back and you look at your videos and you watch your videos, especially if it's going to get shared with everybody in the whole home buying decision, how likable were you? How much transparency did you demonstrate? And again, how simple did you make it? I look at a lot of these edge videos, and sometimes people over-complexify the message. You got to really go back and review energy, likability, transparency, and simplicity. So these videos are really important for a lot of reasons, but one of the important reasons is, let's face it, from a borrower's perspective, everybody has a loan officer. Everybody has a friend or family member. If they're buying a home, they have a realtor. Again, depending on their finances, they might have an advisor. And lots of people, they have lots of people surrounding them that are helping them make the decision. And if you do not create one of these videos, mortgage coaches, you're leaving it to the borrower to communicate what you're doing for them. If you create a video, everybody's in the loop. So really important you do this. We've created this checklist. Roberto has given us a lot of guidance and feedback on this checklist. I put a link to this.
Can I just say something? I have a saying. Can you go back to your slides? Yeah. Yeah. This is such a powerful. I want to actually make a point here. Look, if you don't share a story, your marketplace will create one about you or about your industry. Right? I want to say again, if you don't tell your story or don't share a story, your marketplace will create one about you. So let me ask you this. What is the story about mortgages, about home finance that most people have. Right? They already have. Look, they already have a story. So I feel like if you don't control or don't influence that story that they already have in their minds, then you're gonna live up to them. So that's why this is so important, because now is a chance for you to quote unquote influence or create a positive or create a response that you want to create in your borrower's mind, not only them but everybody else around them. So this slide is really, really, really important, right? Because if you, like Dave said, if you don't control the conversation, someone's going to control the conversation for you, and this is key. So I just want to add that, brother, because this is so right on. We have that person over the phone or face to face. The moment they hang up, they're going to talk to someone, and now look. And here's I learned that from Tony Robbins in my career. Every time two people meet in a conversation, okay, the person has more certainty, usually end up influencing the other person if they have rapport. Now let's say you have certainty, you influence the borrower, now the borrower's excited, but then the borrower now, who may talk to you maybe once or twice a year, turns around, talk to the wife or the genius father-in-law, who they talk every day, right? They'll be like, oh, no, there's a better way to do it. So that's why the edge video is so important, because a chance for you to control the conversation after they talk to you. So love that, Dave.
And again, it's not just about winning the business, it's about taking the loan app right. I mean, this is something that takes you 5 minutes to do, and now it's actually going to save you conversations, because you created a one and done. These are your options, or whatever the video's purpose is, it's communicating for you. So again, we put this checklist together. Roberto's provided some feedback. There is a link to this checklist in the comments of today's Facebook page. So make sure, if you haven't downloaded this, if you haven't printed out, put it in your workstation. Make sure you have this out, and after you create Edge videos, go through the checklist. Once you do this a couple times, this stuff all becomes habits, and it becomes really simple. So let's review Troy Chambers, another great RPM mortgage coach loan officer in the Seattle market. So Roberto, what did you like about Troy's video? And Troy, if you're on this call and you raise your hand, I'll bring you in after Roberto gets done with his update.
Hey Troy, Roberto here. I love your certainty. You exuded certainty. That's the first thing that they're like, wow, came across. I love that it was short to the point. And by the way, all the videos are short to the point. I like it. There's no fluff. Really, you guys are doing a great job, the videos that reveal. And I like the fact that you start a video saying, hey, for 10 years, I have been writing every Friday for you. So kind of like, to build up a little credibility that I have been doing this for a while. I like that. You showed 3 different scenarios, 3 different loans, which I really like. And you had a very specific call to action in the end. So I like it. I really like it.
Good. And if you had any suggestions to improve it, what would those be, Roberto?
Yeah, the suggestions. Let's see. Okay. So here's something that if you Troy, I want you to go back and watch your video, because I think it's going to be a big. This is a big takeaway for everybody. If you want to learn one thing from me today, guys, learn this. Okay, just remember this: before you present information, create a need for it. I'm going to repeat it 3 times so you guys do. Before you present any information, and that one is valid to video, to public speaking, to one-on-one conversation over Starbucks, okay, if they come to the office, before you present information and create a need for it. Why are you creating this video? All right, so like in the context here, you're creating the video to talk about, to show your referral partners, your realtors, when they're communicating with the borrowers, you have a tool that allows them to select 3 different loans, right? How to create the need for? I can create this need for example, by wrapping in a story. You say, look, the reason I'm telling this, recording this video to you today is because last week I went to a caravan or I went to open house or realtor, and now we found this potential home buyer who was asking all these questions, and then I realized that the realtor kind of like didn't know how to answer, or got a little lost a little bit, and the potential buyer didn't get the answers right away. That's why I'm recording this video today, because when you come across, right, so I would wrap the same information here into my story and create the need while you're recording it. Because now the realtor goes, oh yeah, I've been in situations like that before, right? Or also, if you don't have a story, you can create a what-if scenario. It can be like, now imagine this, Mr. Realtor, what would happen if this week in an open house and someone asked this question? What is the best way to answer that? Well, that's why I'm recording a video for you, because in this video, I would create a need for your video, okay? And then the third thing, just because we're in a video communication, you're talking to a camera, obviously, most of us forget that we could use some elements of the one-on-one communication, which is asking questions. You can ask questions. Have you ever been in a situation where a borrower asks you, what loan program should I have? And you froze? Exactly. That's why I'm recording a video today. Right? So it's kind of like, feel free to bring the energy along what they've started to talk about, the energy, the communication. Ask questions, pause, have some fun. So get used to it, because at the beginning, when I started recording video, I thought it was just one-way communication, which is not quite, because the best videos are the ones that it feels that is a conversation, and if you're being part of any great conversation, you have questions involved, so feel free to ask questions. So that's my suggestions. Overall, that was a great video.
Yeah, and again, everybody, this video was where Troy made it for his realtors. Troy, I have unmuted you. Did you have a question or any comment around Roberto's feedback?
You got me on here, Dave?
We can hear you.
Hey, buddy. You know, I appreciate the comments. What I took away from that is the way to kind of tie in the presentation of a story or the what-if scenario into the call for action, because I know he said one of the things he liked was the call to action.
Yeah.
You know, I can kind of use that as, hey, let's say you're on the weekend and someone's asking you about payments on the house that you're showing this weekend, and you don't have an answer for them. In this case, you can ask them, hey, can I get your email address? So A, it's going to secure that email address for you, Mr. Realtor, and B, you can just send along this presentation so that they're quite clear what those payments would be on the individual home. So it's going to tie everybody together and kind of put us all on the same page and hopefully get, you know, the realtor a deal and a deal for me as well. So I really appreciate that feedback a lot.
Awesome. Yeah, the overall the video was great, Troy, because you actually went to detail this loan, this payment, and you did it. So I always remember this when you present it, create a need for it. Say, hey, have you ever been in a situation where the consumer approached you and you didn't know? Or have you ever been in a situation where the consumer asked these questions and you didn't have a time, or you didn't give an answer with certainty? If you have it, let me tell, that's why I'm recording this video today. My name is Troy, and then you go into a boom. So you create, basically, you want to, before you present the need, before you present any content, always remember, why I'm presenting, why? Yep. So try to create what-if scenario, a question, a problem, or a story. You can use that. Overall, it's great, my friend. Thank you.
I love it. Thanks for the feedback, man.
Yep.
Hey, Troy, thanks for sharing, and keep the good stuff coming.
You bet, brother.
All right, man. Take care. So, and Roberto, this is like pre-framing. I mean, you taught me, you know, the framework I work under is opening, pre-frame, story or strategy, pre-close, and close. And I've shared that. So, you know, you always make the point, pre-framing a story or a strategy is more important than the story or the strategy.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, cool. So we've got another video to review here, part of the contest. Sean, if you were on the call, raise your hand, and I'll bring you in after Roberto gives feedback. Now, this video is a little different. So the first one was a borrower conversation to deliver advice, provide value, and it was pre-GFE. The one that we just heard from Troy was a weekly realtor video, so I think that was sent out to 70 realtors. By the way, Troy, I would love to know how many people viewed it. Either one, I can unmute you later, or maybe you could throw that into the questions of the GoToMeeting. And then this one is where Sean was actually delivering, hey, we locked in your rate. And I would call it an update video where he has the loan, and now he's delivering some updates. So Roberto, what did you like about this video?
Well, what I liked about the video was like super fast, Sean. Was like, I think it was, if I remember, 42 seconds or something. Super fast. And the entire video, can you move the page, Dave, please?
Yeah, it looks like I only have the suggestions. I don't have the
That's okay. Well, so the suggestion was the number one. Well, so let me tell you what I love about the video. Was short, the point, sweet. Number two was the entire video was benefit driven. you're talking about, hey, you saved the money, you saved the insurance, we're going to save this money, save. So as a borrower, I think you hit one of my major points, right? So I thought it was really well done. And one more thing, that you're very articulate, so you communicate the message concisely in 42 seconds. I thought it was really powerful. As far as suggestions, I also analyzed your video several times. If you can move the page, David, please. I'll slow down a little bit because 42 seconds. Remember this, yeah, you wanna create a video that's short, right? 2 minutes or less. I thought it was a little bit rushed. Number two, I would point people, because, like, for example, from borrower, unless you may have done this in previous videos, okay? You may. Obviously, I just saw this video, so I kind of like didn't have the entire context. But in this video specifically, you didn't guide me through any numbers in a spreadsheet, zero. So you just talked to me, and all the numbers, the background, you're not guiding me through them, explain them to me, the benefits. So I was kind of lost, and there was no call to action too. I would have a call to action, hey Bob, it was cool because I was able to save $800. By the way, we all know that we know 250 people or more, right? And if you know anybody who are also friends, family, I always encourage people to do a little call to action. So as far as this video per se, I'll try to explain, to guide them through some of the benefits of the spreadsheet, the edge videos here, because you know what I feel sometimes, let's say you're a loan officer and you record, I don't know, 20 videos a day, right, or 30 videos a day, and you kind of like, the law of familiarity kicks in, and you kind of like, oh, they know this, they know that. And by the way, I work with 30 industries, and I see that in every industry. But when you record a video, you really have to dumb down the information, because the borrowers, the first time they're watching or the second time they're watching the edge video, and they have to explain to someone else. So I'll never assume, and if I were an officer, I prefer to err dumbing down information than not covering. That would be my takeaway too. Otherwise, a great video was fast and was to the point. So,
well, I would just echo again. You want to keep it, less than 2 minutes, between 1 minute and 2 minutes, but always have a call to action. And again, I thought this was just a really powerful update, and you could have just added a little more value to it, and you could have, made it a little bit more social. But I thought it was a great video, and it was just a great example of not just using Mortgage Coach Ed videos to win the business, but to continue to deliver value throughout the relationship. So just a reminder, mortgage coaches, you could deliver it at the pre-qual. You could update the video and the content when they firm up and put a house in escrow. In this particular case, it could have been the same link to deliver, hey, we locked in your rate, and this is what you have. And we have a lot of loan officers that all the way through the close of loan are continuing to update the video, update the numbers, and provide a mortgage review. Hey, we closed your loan today. I adjusted your options. I showed you the value of prepaying your mortgage by $100 a month and how much money you can save over the life of your loan. I will continue to update this over the course of time, when we do an annual review a year from now. So you can keep this conversation going with people with the Mortgage Coach Edge videos. And by the way, there's a great video. I will post a link to it with a great team down in Southern California, the Gaylord Hanson team, where they did a quick hit around how they provide borrower updates throughout the process. So it doesn't look like Sean's on the call. I do want to do a shout out for Roberto. Like I said, Roberto has been my personal coach for, Roberto, it's been over 10 years that you have been mentoring me and coaching me, whether it has to do with video creation, public speaking, and I would just say just selling. If you wouldn't, and again, we've also sent a lot of our mortgage coach success coaches and our trainers through Roberto's program. So Roberto, if you could give everybody a heads up on how they can learn more from you and your next event.
I appreciate that, my friend. We have classes coming up. We do 5 classes a year, 2015, and that is I would say one of the best things we do creating my career. We have a 3-day class here in San Diego. We always have loan officers and realtors in our class, and it's a 3-day class, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And the whole idea, is to help become a better presenter in front of a camera, in front of one person, or in front of a group of people. That's the idea. How can I become a better presenter? How can I communicate better, more effective my information? That's the idea. The next class is December 5th, 6th, and 7th. And then we have a class February also. And because relationship for 10 years that we have with David, if we decide to go, the class is $997 online. But for the mortgage coach members, we do a $200 write-off. So when you go to the shopping cart, you want to make sure you type it up MC for mortgage coach, and it's going to save $200. Obviously, money back guarantee. That's what I've been doing for 6 years. We've done this class 20 times, and it's really life-changing. So I'd love, if you can come December or February, I'd love to have it there.
Yeah, and I just can't recommend Roberto's training and teaching events more than anything. I mean, like I said, I've invested for over a decade. I've referred countless leaders. I think Jeremy Forcier and I have been through your training. I think Jeremy's getting coaching for you as I speak. So really great coach if you want to improve your presentation skills.
Appreciate it, buddy. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you for coming to this call and adding so much value. Also, for all you branch managers who are on this call, Roberto created a great Edge video to help you inspire your loan officers and the teams within your branch to create Edge videos. So it's inspirational and it's tactical. Just put Roberto into your Mortgage Coach app and see, get a Roberto training at your next event.
You know, what I'm going to do, Dave? When I come back, I'm getting married November 8th, and I commit right now to you, buddy. When I come back, I record a new one of my new stuff, okay? I'll record a new Edge video. And when I come back from my honeymoon, I'll record another one.
Yeah, well, hey, congratulations again on that, Roberto.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, appreciate that. So as we wrap up the whole video piece, creating videos is not easy for the first time. If you haven't created 20 Mortgage Coach Edge videos, it's not easy. Emotionally, it's difficult to get over the hump. Technically, it's really easy, but don't wish it was easy, or just wish you were better. Do it 20 times. Do it fast, because success is something you attract by the person you become. And I have never met a mortgage coach who doesn't create videos or audio reports for their buyers and their realtors that's done it 20 times and is saying, oh, it's not that valuable, or, oh, it's so hard to do. It's not. It's easy, and it's incredibly valuable. So everybody on this call, we want to make it easy for you to deliver our tools and solutions in the marketplace. We've got a lot of scripts. These scripts, there's a link to them in the go-to, or not in the go-to, but in the actual comment section for the promotion of today's Facebook page. So if you go to the Mortgage Coach Facebook page, there is a link to these scripts. Go and get it. Go get them today. Download it. And my goal for you as we wrap up this part of today's call is stop doing this and start doing this. Make sure every borrower gets one of these. Make sure every realtor gets one of these. And just really analyze, what you're doing. Go from app taker to value creator. One last teaching around video. And Roberto, when you get back in town, I'd love to have you net one of these out for me. You and I do a 15-minute version. But a couple weeks ago, Bill Hart and I created just a 15-minute video going through the checklist, and it was Bill Hart and I on how to create an effective Mortgage Coach video. And the two best teachers in our space around video are Coach Bill Hart and Roberto. So Roberto, let's you and I do one of these, and anybody and everybody, if you want to get better at creating Edge videos, go watch this video today. So Roberto, any last thoughts or comments before we bring Mark into the call?
Yeah, no, the video, the whole video, what I really want to inspire you guys, for those who haven't recorded Edge videos, or if you record it but you're not consistent, remember this. Every video that you record, you're going to create a positive impact. Every single one of them. I have a belief that every single time I open my mouth, magical things happen. A new friend, a new impact, I help someone, I make money, whatever it is. For you, every single Edge video record is better than the one you didn't record yesterday. So just go there and start it. Start small, go big. Start recording. Start today.
Right on, right on. So I've got another, I have a first-time guest. Mark Dooley was the CMO of Cash Call, and he is a local here in Portland who I have become friends with. Roberto, I want you to stay on this call and feel free to ask Mark questions or add some color around this conversation. So like I said, Mark was a former CMO for Cash Call. So this is a guy who has, you know, I don't know exactly how many years, but a large part of his career has been generating leads for consumer direct companies and helping loan officers monetize those leads, convert them. And so I've learned a lot from the conversations that we've had, and I want to open this conversation up. So for all you Mortgage Coach members that are on this call, first of all, I want to know how many of you are doing some type of consumer direct marketing. So before Mark and I start really riffing on this, we want to know. And again, guys, you know how I roll. Let's get 70% of you voting. Mark, what do you think the answer is going to be in terms of how many of the folks on the call are doing this kind of marketing?
I would suggest, just because I've listened to a few of these calls in the last few weeks, I would say about 40% would do.
So you're going to say 40% are actually doing consumer direct marketing.
Correct. Correct. And I would say the majority of that is mailers and postcards.
Okay, so guys, let's get a vote in, put a big push. I've got 2 questions. So, by the way, you pretty much nailed it, Mark. I don't know if you're cheating over there, but it was 41% said yes, they're doing this. I have one more question. How much are you investing monthly in consumer direct marketing? So how much are you investing monthly in marketing? And Roberto, did you want to jump in and ask
No, the question I had was the direct marketing. I was talking about online or offline. That was my question. I didn't know.
Yeah, both, Roberto.
Okay.
I wouldn't say that a social marketing is direct marketing of some sort. I would say something, if you're out there putting your brand out there, either by banners, either by other type of display type of advertising out there to get consumers to either go to your site, fill out a form, whatever else. To me, that's consumer direct marketing.
Got it. Okay.
All right, mortgage coaches. So let's get a push in here. We're under 50% of you have voted. Give me a vote. And then also, if you did vote on this and you are doing some marketing, I'd love to know what you are doing more specifically. So while Mark and I are chatting, feel free to say, tell us what you're doing in questions. And if you're doing something that's really working well, I want to know what it is. And if you're doing something and it's not working well, tell us. It will help make today's conversation even more fruitful. So no surprise here, Mark, but the results are 85% is less than 500, 12%, 500 to 1,000, and a very small percent are, really investing some serious money in marketing. So Mark, let's start the conversation with how good are most of the call center loan officers out there? I mean, most of the loan officers on this call were referral-based, purchase-based loan officers, so we have our own opinion. But you, as an insider, how good are they?
I've listened to thousands of phone calls and worked with thousands of loan officers, whether it's Loan Depot, the Cash Calls, the Quickens of the world. I don't want to classify all of them, but I would say a good 88 to maybe 90-something% of them are just god-awful. And what I mean by that is they are not, they understand their product. They understand what the company's doing from marketing, whether it's a Cash Call doing a lot of direct response or whether it's a Loan Depot doing a lot of lead aggregation, and they fit their script per se, which is frankly nothing but order taking into the equation. So what I've seen from a loan officer standpoint, like I said, listening to these calls, being a Mortgage Coach member back in 2006, 2007, is I think there's so much value that a Mortgage Coach loan officer offers to the consumer, not only from professionalism, but value add, education, those kind of things.
So obviously, they do win some loans, so they're good at something. Mm-hmm. I want to really help the Mortgage Coach community because we are a community of, for the most part, referral-based loan officers. But whether a loan officer is referral-based or consumer direct, I want to help loan officers be advisors, deliver a great experience. And by and large, the call center type loan officers, that's not how they roll. So just kind of give us some intel behind enemy lines. What are they really good at, and what are they best at?
You know what? I think they're really good at, Dave, of guiding or shepherding the consumer to the product that the consumer is calling about. right? You know, I'll give you an analogy or maybe a visual of a boxer, right? Somebody that takes up boxing. You know, they're great when you look at them. They're outside the ring. They're doing some shadow boxing. They look fantastic in their form. They can hit the bag well. They can, you know, do all those kind of things. And they get in the ring and they get hit one time. And all of a sudden, all the Hail Marys come out. They just lose all their form. They lose all those other kind of things. And I think that kind of reminds me of the loan officer in a call center. You know, if somebody calls in and says, I'll give an example. You know, being the CMO for Cash Call, we spend about $3 million a month in direct response advertising. And direct response advertising is TV, radio, newspaper. And yes, we did some lead aggregation and some online work, but the majority of our business came from TV, radio, and newspaper. And when somebody was calling in, it was a motivated consumer calling in based upon that ad. In other words, they were looking for the 15-year fixed with the free closer, et cetera, et cetera. And so when the loan officer would answer the phone and say, hi, this is Mark at Cash Call, how can I help you? And you know, the consumer would say, this is, you know, Bill, and I'm calling about the 15-year fix, everything seemed to go okay. You know, we can walk you through it. But if Bill said, you know, I'm curious about your products that you offer, or can you help me with my mortgage? It just completely baffled the loan officer at the time. And what I felt was that, you know, a lot of these larger organizations don't spend the time in cultivating their culture, educating their loan officers on, you know, we have a motivated consumer on the line. How do we get them a mortgage? You know, whether it's the product we're trying to advertise or not, how do we work with them to get them the mortgage that they need?
Got it. And while you may have already answered this one, I still want to, you know, kind of net this out, because again, you bring a unique perspective, someone that has heard thousands of consumer direct loan officers. But what are the biggest mistakes they make most often, just to help all the referral-based mortgage coach loan officers, you know, really crush it when they know who their competition is?
I think the two things that they lack on is, one is follow-up. I think if you don't have a follow-up process and system to routinely connect with that consumer during the loan process, I think you're losing business. And so I don't know what the percentage is, but I mean, you would know from a referral side or whatever from the loan officers that are out there, how many people do you call, or how many people call into you via a referral that actually are a first time, you know, first call close? And I would say that percentage is pretty low. And what happens is that if you don't have the right follow-up and systems in place, you're losing business and you're leaving money on the table. The second thing is that, you know, I went and watched the videos and things like that, and I enjoyed, you know, looking at them, listening to them. I think one of the things that to encourage, or you could get more conversions, is more of an emotional connection. And what I mean by that is more of a personal emotional connection, not a, hey, you know, I'm glad we talked on the phone a few times, I understand what your needs are, but, you know, let's say for myself, if somebody called me up and said, hey, Mark, you know, I know that you were interested in lowering your interest rate, and here are the things that you wanted to, you know, that we're doing for you, I would have loved to have a, hey, I know that, you know, you wanted to lower your interest rate to save money because you wanted to put your daughter Giselle through the college that she wanted to go through. To me, that's somebody who's taken the little extra effort, did the extra 1%, and I've built this emotional connection with this person.
Got it. So big mistake call center loan officers make is they don't connect emotionally. And obviously, you know, how important is that in the sales process? In terms of how you rate the quality of leads, because you really have come at this industry, you understand the science of lead quality, and we've got a lot of loan officers, whether they're referrals or whether you're doing marketing, you have consumer. I want them to learn from a master like yourselves. How do you rate lead quality?
You know, frankly, Dave, you know, I've worked with tons of leads, whether it's warm transfers, whether it's online lead, whether it's mail. How I rate everything is really about the motivation of the consumer. Is the consumer motivated to do a loan? right? Whether it's a refinance, whether it's a purchase, is that consumer motivated to do a loan? I think so many people out there, whether it's lead gen companies, and I don't know how many, we saw the number there, how much they actually do consumer direct. I think there's a ton of lead companies out there that have really focused on, we're going to send you leads or send you calls that meet a certain type of filter that you want. I just think all that's hocus pocus. I don't think any of that really matters at the end of the day. I think what it is if you have a consumer that is motivated to do a mortgage or a refinance, and if you can figure out a way to help them to get them the actual product and services that they need, I think the filters, go out the window.
Got it. So the motivation is everything. And when you kind of, from your perspective, break down the keys to the borrower conversation or a successful borrower conversation, how would you break that down for the mortgage coach community here today?
I think that the actual successful conversation is one is do they have the need? Two is that you have a process and best practices in place. In other words, the scripting that you have done, Dave, with Mortgage Coach. I also think that the value that a loan officer gives in the equation. I think, as an advisor, I believe there's a ton of organizations out there that are in the lead industry and the large boxed lenders out there are really just trying to listen to what the consumer is saying and putting them into product the consumer is saying that they want, right? But I think if you went out and I wouldn't say go out of your way, but if you add the value and the leadership there and say, hey, look, I know you're interested in a 15-year fix, but here are some other options for you, and this is from your scenario that you have told me, and do a total cost analysis with them, I think that adds so much more value to the conversation with each consumer.
Got it. So just, really reaffirming the concept of tailoring and teaching,
Absolutely.
Ask great questions.
Absolutely. It's kind of like Roberto said. Here's the thing. Learning is fun. When I learn something new, I'm having fun. And I think each consumer is the same way. If you could go back there and say, hey, you know what, I know you wanted a, 30-year fix, and now all of a sudden we're going to put you in a 15, this is my recommendation to you, and those kind of things. There's a couple things that I believe in, Dave. I think people, at the end of the day, really want to be told what to do. And I think as an advisor that you can come in there and say, hey, look, I know this is what you said, but here's what I'm going to advise. I think they will respect you a ton more. I think doing the education, like this is the reason why we're going to do it, no one is doing that, doing that out there.
Yeah. So Roberto, I'm going to bring you in, see if you have any questions for Mark. Also, if anybody is on the call and you have a question for Mark or Roberto, feel free to either raise your hand or post a question in the GoToMeeting control panel. I'll keep an eye on those questions. So Roberto, if you can come to Mike.
Yeah, I just want to make a comment. You're right on when you said that people want to be led. They don't want to be manipulated. It's different than being led. Being manipulated is different. If I go to a doctor, I want them to lead me to health, right? I'm giving him leadership position. And when someone is talking to a loan officer, they want to be led to what's the best for them. So I agree with what Mark said, that they want to be led by you, and it's your job as a leader in the industry to tell them what you think is the best for them and not be boxed in a box. So that would be my comment. So
beautiful. So I have a couple questions in here. So Brad Loudon asked about, again, it's dating back to videos, but he mentioned that he uses an HD camera and it reduces video time. So Mark, our advice is to not use an HD camera, especially for edge videos. But really, all the types of videos that you're pushing online, all it does is actually slow down your video. And most people are viewing these videos either on their mobile devices or online. So it's not serving you. If you email support@mortgagecoach.com, we have a couple really inexpensive cameras to recommend to you. But that's the answer to that question. I've got a few other questions that have come in. I'll get to those in just a second. So Mark, one of the reasons why I asked you to come into this coaching call was to, start this conversation with the mortgage coach community and bring leadership and value around the whole consumer direct marketing piece. If you could just tell people how to connect with you if they, one, have questions outside of today's call. And again, folks, if you have questions, you can either email me directly, Dave at Mortgage Coach. I want to know what kind of questions you have around this type of marketing. But Mark, if you could tell everybody how they can connect with you.
Sure. You can call me direct on my personal cell phone number. The number is 503-758-7445. Again, that is 503-758-7445. And then you can reach me via email at Mark. It's marc.dooley, DOOLEY, at doolster.com. And it's DOOLSTER.com.
Great. So folks, everybody on today's call just really want to drive that multi-channel communication so that when you do talk to someone, you connect emotionally, you ask great questions, you're delivering that advice where they want it. And you don't know where they want it. They know where they want it when they click on your email. Sometimes they're doing it from a computer. Sometimes they're doing it from an iPad. Sometimes from an iPhone. And yes, if they're in your office and they want to print it, they can click the print button. And if they're in your office, you can click the print button. So make sure, every client that needs mortgage options, I'm providing some screenshots from last week's coaching call, and I just want to make sure that everybody on this call, you're really delivering this advice in a quality way. Also, I want to remind you that we have a checklist on how to create great videos, so make sure you download this. If you have any questions or you need it, let us know. I did want to remind you guys, is from just a preparation for how we're going to need to compete when the new GFE comes out in 2015. It will have 5 years. What is the cost of a loan over 5 years? That'll become in the new GFE that comes out in August of next year. So as a mortgage coach loan officer, this is something that you guys are really competent, really comfortable in doing. If you're on this phone and you're not delivering a mortgage coach report to every client, you're making a big mistake. You need to build that habit today while it's a significant competitive advantage. So just want to remind you guys, I mentioned this last week, but I want to remind you that this is what next year's GFE is going to look like coming out in Q3, but you need to build the conversation, you need to build the skills now so that every time you're delivering mortgage advice, you're showing people the cost of that loan over 5 years. Another homework assignment, I did mention it earlier, and someone actually in the messages put an ask for this. I will respond to the GoToMeeting question, and I'll give you a link to this video, and I'll also put this link in the comment section of our Facebook page. But this is the quick 6-minute video about borrower updates. So, what is the strategy around, not only updating the video at pre-qual, but throughout the entire mortgage process, how you can update that. So there's a quick, actually it's a 4-minute video that will walk you through how you can do that. So, kind of some closing thoughts, and then I'll see if there's any more questions. Want you guys to stop delivering the fee worksheet, start delivering the mortgage experience. I would love to see more pictures around the open house experiences that you're driving, and want to get some feedback and some scripts on the scripts that we are driving. So as we wrap up today's call, please let us know what you think of our new apps, whether it's the Rate Watch app, whether it's the Mortgage Coach Edge app. Please give us your feedback. I want to remind you that this Thursday at 9 o'clock Pacific time, we will be having a training call. Every Friday, beginners, and again, every Tuesday, it's a sales call like the one today. Also, remember that we have the new scripts playlist. So any last questions before we wrap up today's call? And Mark, I'll let you say some final thoughts, and then Roberto, I'll let you close the call today. Mark, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I've always believed that the best type of business out there is referral business. But I also believe that we can't rely or be dependent on other people to help us drive our business. And I think there could be a mismatch, or mismatch of everything. And I'll give you an example, and I think consumer direct marketing fits into not just the industry of mortgage, but also other industries that are out there. You know, I've been very fortunate and blessed in the things that I've done, you know, from a mortgage side and consumer direct marketing. But one of the things that I'm mostly proud of is that my wife, Gabby, actually owns an orthodontic practice here in the Portland area. And it's interesting how the orthodontic practice is a lot like the mortgage business. In other words, we always refer and need referral business. And the thing with the orthodontic business is that you're always going to referring dentists. And, you know, my wife about 2.5 years ago complained to me all the time that, you know, these dentists are finicky. You know, for whatever reason, you might have upset them, or maybe somebody came and brought them a basket of cookies or whatever else, and they start referring the business to other people. And she said, you know, we need to do something different. And at that time, my wife's practice was generating at about $800,000 a year in revenue. We decided to take a direct response approach in addition to what she was doing with referral dentists. And what we did was we did some radio advertisements, we did some direct response, either mail, we did some commercials on Univision and things like that. And my wife's practice today does about $5 million a year now in revenue. And that was the combination. And her business is coming from her same referrals that she had before, but she added this direct response directly to the consumer where she can control her brand, where she could sit there and tell her message. And, you know, the results are what they are today. So I don't believe that you should go away from the referral business whatsoever. But, you know, when I'm looking at, you know, where the numbers that were there that you know, 59% or whatever the number was of people actually investing in some direct response, maybe people have had some bad experience in purchasing leads or whatever else from other people. But I believe there's other options and value out there going directly with the consumer.
Beautiful. Well, thanks for that. Great success story. And Roberto, Monaco, I'll give you the final words as we wrap up today's call.
Yeah, when I started video marketing, I would say almost 6 years ago, I was doing everything wrong. I didn't have training like you guys have, scripts like you guys have. I really didn't have it. And I remember when I got my iPhone with everything wrong, recording outside, the wind blowing, no tripod. I didn't know how to edit a video. I recorded a little video, was my 3rd video ever, and I uploaded on Facebook. And then literally within 2 days, I received a little message on, you know, when you go to Facebook, there's a little red thing, and I click it, and the guy was Thiago Antunes. See, I knew this guy back in Brazil 20 years ago. I came to America. He went to Canada. He was the CEO of a company in Canada, and he said, man, I didn't know you're doing coaching right now. I want to hire you as a coach. And he hired me on the spot in a conversation. And the reason I'm telling you that is that because my video, if you watch now, it'll be like, dude, this is the worst video ever, ever, ever. Still got me a client. So the message for you is this: just start today. As Mark said, when you do direct marketing, you have the power to control your destiny, to influence your destiny too. So it gives a great sense of ownership. You don't depend. I know the LOs, we go after realtors and financial planners. I understand the game. I've been in loan officers working with you guys for 10 years, but I believe in direct marketing as well, and I do for my company. And one of the best, most effective ways is getting video and communicate. And you have the best platform right here, the Edge videos. So we start today, and if you're already doing it, I encourage you guys to do it more frequent. So that's my message for you.
Well, gentlemen, thank you for all the value delivered today. Everybody, please let us know what you thought of today's call. As you exit the day, or exit the call, just click on the poll. What you thought of today's call. Roberto, thank you. Mark, thank you. And have a great week, everybody.
All right. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Yeah. Thanks. Bye-bye.